হ্যাঁ বাপ্পা।
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. And please wait for 5 minutes. Other students also want to join.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Because exam and revision are different.
Hasn't it go feeling hungry?
Hello, Minimol ma'am. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, I can hear you.
Ma'am, whether we can start the session?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, ma'am. Mark. Hello, Mark. Hello, Mark. Can you hear me? Hello, Mark. Hello, Mark. Can you hear me, Mark? No, you are not audible. Well, just wait. Hello. You can have the introduction. I think Mark is not audible. Ma'am,
Mark is not audible.
yes. So can we start the session, ma'am? After
Okay, so
we can
okay,
start.
so I can start straight. Okay. 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 So let me just share my screen. Is the screen visible, Akhil?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Okay. So a warm good morning to one and all. This is Dr. Mini from Rajagiri College of Social Sciences. I'm really happy to have a session where I can actually interact with you on the concept of SDG. And I would like to share a few things about the SDG Agenda 2030. I hope all of you are aware of the concept of sustainable development. It is basically a development methodology that meets the needs of current generation without compromising the needs of future generations. When we look at the concept of sustainable development, we have to really focus on three aspects of sustainable development. The first one is the environmental context, second one is the social context, and the third one is the economic context. So when we look at all these three components of sustainable or components of the development, then only we can actually reach sustainable development. And as you all know, sustainable development goals, popularly known as SDGs, were adopted by the United Nations in 2015. as a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and to ensure that by 2030, all people enjoy peace and prosperity. And there are actually 17 goals in SDGs which are really interconnected, which means development in one aspect will automatically leads to the other goal also. So another simple way to look at SDGs is to look at the 5 P's in the earth. The 5 P's are people, prosperity, peace, planet, and obviously a partnership to harmonize all these P's. The first SDG goal is non-poverty. The goal actually aims to end poverty in all forms everywhere. You know, poverty is defined as income less than 1.25 US dollar per day. And this goal basically includes a target for a world where the poor are not vulnerable to climate changes and have equal rights to economic resources. The goal also aims to have an economic growth in countries which must be inclusive to provide sustainable jobs and promote equality. And it ultimately aims to eradicate extreme poverty in the world by the year 2030. You know, COVID-19 has led to first rise in extreme poverty in a generation. We are now facing that. An additional 119 to 124 million people were pushed back into extreme poverty in 2020. And the global poverty rate is projected to be 7% in 2030. So no doubt, we are actually missing the target of eradicating poverty. And will you believe me when I say governments worldwide have put in place almost 1,600 short-term social protection measures in response to COVID-19. But still, 4 billion people in the world are still not covered by social protection. Hope you will understand the severity of the issue. So, when you take the case of India alone, 230 million Indians pushed into poverty because of COVID-19 pandemic. And by the end of 2020, about 15 million workers remained out of their work. Job losses were higher for those states where average COVID case load is higher. Maharashtra, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, and Delhi contributed disproportionately to job losses. And estimates shows that around 150 to 199 million additional people will fall into poverty this year. It means an overall increase in poverty by 15 to 20%, making around half of the country's population poor. Coming to the second goal, that is zero hunger, basically aims to end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. SDG 3, good health and well-being. The aim of this goal is to ensure healthy lives for all and also to promote the well-being of all at all ages in the world. So it basically calls for universal health coverage, increasing healthcare workforce, reducing illness and death by pollution, and a comprehensive agenda for tackling a wide range of global health challenges such as AIDS, malaria, tuberculosis, etc. SDG goal is for quality education. The purpose is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. SDG 5 aim to achieve gender equality and empowerment of women. Target for this goal include freedom from discrimination and violence, ensuring equal share of leadership opportunities and responsibilities for women, as well as property ownership. When I talk about clean water and sanitation, SDG Goals 6, it intends to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Believe me, billions of people still lack access to safe drinking water, sanitation, and hygiene in the world. If you look at the statistics in 2020, almost 26% people lack safely managed drinking water. It is 46% in the case of safely managed sanitation, and around 30% lack basic hygiene. So, ensuring universal access of clean water and sanitation is fundamental for COVID-19 recovery. And 2.3 billion people still live in water-stressed countries. 129 countries are not on track to have sustainably managed water resources even by 2030. So, which means the situation is really alarming, which means the current rate of progress in ensuring clean water and sanitation needs to double if we want to achieve this particular goal. SDG 7 talks about affordable and clean energy. Financial flows to developing countries for renewable energy are increasing, no doubt. But efforts need to scale up the sustainable energy. 789 million people lack electricity in the world. Affordable and reliable energy is critical for health facilities, especially in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. But even now, 1 in every 4 person is not electrified in some developing countries. Energy efficiency improvement rate is actually falling short of 3% target. The target is actually 3%, but then it is falling short of that. SDG 8, an important goal, that is decent work and economic growth. I told you, so many people faces job losses because of COVID-19 pandemic. So the pandemic will lead to an increase in youth not employed in school or in training. The rate of youth not in education, employment, or training, as per the statistics of 2019, in the case of young women, it was 31% almost. And for men, it is 14%. The pandemic has led to the loss of the equivalent of 255 million full-time jobs. Really alarming. It is, if you think about this number, it is 4 times the number of jobs lost during the global financial crisis from 2007 to 2009. So in 1 year time, we lose 4 times that number. 1.6 billion informal economy workers, they lack social safety net. They were significantly affected because of COVID-19. So the economic recovery is underway. But for many countries, economic growth is expected to return to the pre-pandemic levels only by 2022 or 2023. International tourist arrivals in various countries that fell from 1.5 billion in 2019 to 381 million in 2020. So this international tourism is not expected to return to the pre-COVID-19 situations for up to next 4 years, meaning it will take another 4 years time for international tourism to come back to the previous position. SDG 9 talks about industry, innovation, and infrastructure. It is about building resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and also to foster innovation. So what you can do here is you can think of innovative new ways to repurpose the old material. SDG 10 is for reduced inequalities. So as all of you know, the world is massively unequal. So if we want to reduce inequalities, we need policies. They should be universal in principle. The policies should be paying attention to the needs of disadvantaged and marginalized populations. So basically, the goal targets financial market regulation to make the playing field more equal, making migration more orderly, safe, regular, and even responsible. SDG 11 is for sustainable cities and communities, aims to make our cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and even sustainable. You know, more than half of the world population now lives in cities. So definitely we can expect all the issues associated with this urbanization, like problems with transportation, disaster preparedness, even the preservation of the world's cultural and natural heritage. Really, we need to look at it. SDG 12 is for responsible consumption and production. So this goal basically targets topics like reducing the food wastage, corporate sustainability practices, and educating people on the impact of their lifestyle choices. So what we can do here is we can go for recycling of materials and reuse the materials. All these are part of, all these can actually contribute to this particular goal. SDG 13 talks about climate action. You know, climate change is a global challenge that affects everyone, including me and you. So what we can do here is we can educating people on climate change to put them on a sustainable path early. SDG 14 talks about life below water. You know, world's oceans are overfished, underprotected, and stressed from climate change and pollution. So what we can do here is we can avoid plastic bags to keep the ocean safe and clean. SDG 15 is about life on land. It basically aims to protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems. So how do we manage our forest? We need to manage it sustainably. Combat desertification, halt and remove land degradation, put an end to biodiversity loss. All these are really important to ensure that life on land is going on smoothly. So what we can do here is we can plant a tree and help to protect the environment assets. SDG 16 is about peace, justice, and strong institutions. The target for this goal include reduction of violence, end to torture, reduction of corruption, as well as creation of institutions and governments that work for everyone. So it is your right to elect the leaders in your country and in your place and even in your local community. So use the right to ensure that you contribute towards this particular goal. And the last goal, SDG 17, it talks about partnership for attaining these 17 goals. So why this particular session itself is the very reason for this particular goal. The goal aims to ensure partnerships among institutions, partnership among individuals, public-private partnerships, partnership among countries, national or international level, or even local authorities, in order to ensure that we are moving towards these particular goals. Every country and every sector has a role to play in achieving these goals. So this goal basically emphasizes the need for partnerships and collaboration to ensure all these goals. So it is not only important that we all are contributing individually to these SDG goals, but then we need to stand for some kind of collaboration. That is why this particular session is also coming here. We are also trying to collaborate with other partners so that together we can make a difference in the world. And if you ask me, what is the role of higher educational institutions here? See, the role is immense. Higher educational institutions can teach sustainable development to youngsters. They can encourage research on sustainable development. They can engage and share information with international networks. Even they can ensure green campuses. They can support local sustainability efforts. So all these are some ways through which higher educational institutions can contribute to sustainable development goals. So believe me, change starts with you. You know, every human on earth, even the most indifferent, laziest person amongst us, is part of the solution for this. Fortunately, there are some super easy things that we can adopt into our routines, into our daily life, that if we all do it, will make a big difference in this world. Let me tell you about some very basic things that at individual level and at institutional level that you can do in order to be a part of these sustainable development goals. You can save electricity by plugging appliances into a power strip and turning them off completely when not in use, including your computer. Do you remember how many times when you leave your classroom, your lights kept on? Do you ever think how many times you forget to switch off your fans? So if you keep a mind on that, definitely you can contribute. Very simple thing. Stop paper bank statements and pay your bills online or via mobile. So you are saving the resources. Speak up. Very simple thing. Ask your local and national authorities to engage in initiatives that don't harm people or the planet. Turn off the lights. Your TV or computer screen provides a cozy glow. So turn off other lights if you don't need them. So switch on your lights only if it is absolutely necessary. Do a bit of online research and buy only from companies that you know have sustainable practices and don't harm the environment. Take a vow that I will buy only from those companies adopting sustainable practices. In case you witness any kind of online bullies, report that. If you notice harassment on a message board or in a chat room, flag that person. Things that you can do from your home. There are so many things like that. See? Let your hair and clothes dry naturally instead of running a machine. Why do you want a hair dryer for that? You are using additional resources. You are spending energy for that. If you do wash your clothes, make sure that the load is full. Can you just think how many times you run your washing machine without, say, with a simple one pair of dress? You are consuming unnecessary resources there. So make sure that your load is full. Take short showers. Bathtubs require gallons more water than a 5 to 10 minutes shower. Eat less meat, poultry, and fish because more resources are used to provide meat than plants. I'm not asking you to avoid meat, but then I'm just telling you to reduce the quantity. Composting your food scraps can reduce climate impact while also recycling nutrients. You can tell your mother, you can tell your father, or you can tell the people at your home that to compose the food waste, not to throw it outside. You can go for recycling of paper, plastic, glass, aluminum. Make sure that you are buying minimally packaged goods. Plug air leaks in windows and doors to increase energy efficiency. Adjust your thermostat. Lower in winter and higher in summer. And at your home, replace old appliances with energy efficient models and light bulbs so that you can save on energy. Let me tell you some things that you can do in your neighborhood also. You can always shop local and support your neighborhood businesses, keep people employed, and helps prevent trucks from driving far distances. Let your favorite businesses know that ocean-friendly seafood is on your shopping list. Shop only for sustainable seafood. There are no many apps that will tell you what is safe to consume. Use bike or walk or take public transport system and save the car trips for when you have got a big group. Why do you want see, if you are alone, why do you want a luxury car to travel? You can't think of bike, you can't think of walking a short distance, you can even take public transport for that. You can think of refillable water bottles and coffee cups rather than consuming paper cups, which consumes a lot of resources. Every time you throw away a paper cup, keep in your mind this is made using some resources which cannot be replaced. Cut down on waste and maybe even save money at the coffee shop. When you go for shopping, take your own bag, pass on plastic bag, and start carrying your own reusable bags. And every time when you take napkins, make sure that you are taking very few. Only what you need, no? Don't make it a habit that using so much of napkins and throw it somewhere. Take just what you need. Brand new isn't necessarily the best. As youngsters, you may be really worried about the brand of things that you are having. But then please ensure that brand new isn't necessarily the best. So see what you can repropose from the second-hand shops. Donate what you don't use. Nowadays, there are so many institutional arrangements where they can collect the used ones, used materials, and then they can recycle it and give it to somebody else. So donate what you don't use. Local charities will give your gently used clothes, books, and furniture a new life. At your workplace also, you can do so many things. Give fruits or snacks that you don't want to someone who needs and is asking for help. Think whether everyone at your work have access to healthcare. Find out what your rights are to work. Fight against inequality at workplace. Mentor young people. It is a thoughtful, inspiring, and powerful way to guide someone towards a better future. So tell others, tell young people that, okay, this is not the way to live in. You need to go for a sustainable kind of living. Voice your support for equal pay for equal work. Lend your voice to talk about the lack of toilets in many communities around the world. Make sure that your company uses energy efficient heating and cooling technology. Raise your voice against any type of discrimination in the workplace. And tell everyone that everybody is equal, regardless of their gender, race, sexual orientation, social background, and physical abilities. So these all are some very simple ways through which we can actually contribute to sustainable development goals. Why I am telling you is, if you all, not only you, including me, if we all make it as a practice, then together we can make it possible. Together we can make it happen. And together we can contribute to the sustainable development goals so that we can ensure a sustainable world in future. Let me also share the Rajagiri way of contributing to SDGs to you, which I think definitely will help you to think about what you can come out with at your end or at your institution, at your home, or as an individual, what you can come out with to contribute to SDGs. See, in Rajagiri, we have different programs that contribute to SDGs. These are some examples. Rajagiri Center for Sustainable Livelihood, Rajagiri Center for Skill Development, Lake Okon, the Incubation Center, Rajagiri Wellness Park, Rajagiri Bazaar, and Lonsar, and many more. Let me tell you first about Rajagiri Center for Sustainable Livelihood. Training programs are conducted to self-groups on mushroom cultivation here. We organize skill development programs among interdependent micro-entrepreneurial clusters. And we provide mentorship and facilitator for young innovators program for the promotion of innovations among the school and college students. Skill development programs are conducted to for rural youth who are poor, and they are given help even to secure jobs. So popularly, we heard about placements for students in higher educational institutions. But then as a higher educational institution, what we do here is we make sure that the unemployed people who we trained with some special skills, we help them to secure jobs also. We make sure that they are also getting placement after completion of their skill development programs. And we make sure that they are having regular monthly wages. These centers actually organize various entrepreneurship development programs to enhance the knowledge and skills of prospective entrepreneurs through several classroom coaching and programs. The idea here is to help new firms or ventures to nurture and perform better in achieving their goals. Lay Cocoon, the incubation center of Rajagiri, for inculcating entrepreneurial skills in the minds of our students and young innovators. The institution focused on creating an ecosystem, including incubation center and other associate initiatives for creating and transferring the spirit of entrepreneurship among Rajagiri students. Here, what students can do is they can bring their ideas for a startup. A separate space is earmarked for idea exchange and consultation. Expert coaching by faculty members is provided to them for converting their idea into a business plan. And then they are asked to produce a working prototype for further assessment. Once the prototype is accepted, they will be provided with working space for their startup till they start making profit. Sdc Wellness Park, an eco-friendly place for people to sit and relax. A park which is made of only recycled materials. What you see in these pictures, all these things are made up of recycled materials. Nothing is new here. The park is envisaged to ensure good health and well-being of people. See, you can see a picture of where all these SDGs are displayed. All these are made of used tires. Similarly, all the materials that you are seeing here in this picture are made of reused materials. SDG Wellness Life is a concept where we try to promote reflective thinking on Earth and our surroundings. We combined 4 SDG goals, namely Goal 3, good health and well-being, Goal 3, quality education, Goal 6, clean water and sanitation, and G8, decent work and economic growth here. And we pledge ourselves to experience on Rajagiri ethos, learn, serve, and excel. Indian spirit of Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu and the SDG goals globally. Rajagiri Bazaar, a handholding movement to support micro entrepreneurs to ensure decent work and economic growth in aligned with SDG Goal 8. This Bazaar aims to provide a monthly platform to micro entrepreneurs to sell their products. Rajagiri Bazaar is our response to SDG goals, especially Goal 8, decent work and economic growth. And we are trying to connect the micro entrepreneurs to utilize Rajagiri support for a better future. Launcher, a unique entrepreneurship development program for school children. This community outreach program aligned with SDG Goal 8 has been designed to feature industry experts, illustrious management teachers, and startup founders to provide mentorship to entrepreneurial minded teenagers. Solar energy and Jalanidhi projects. We have been using solar energy for meeting major part of our energy requirement for a long time at institutional level. And we are now moving to a full-fledged solar energy powered campus aligned with SDG 7. We were coordinators of Jalanidhi projects of the government for ensuring clean and water sanitation, SDG Goal 6. So, what is the way ahead? I'm not going to answer that question. You need to think, what is the way ahead? What is in front of you to contribute, or how can you actually contribute to this particular goals? By looking at the examples of Rajagiri, you can think of your strengths, your weaknesses, and then you can think of how we can actually contribute to these goals. I'm not asking you to completely imitate the Rajagiri way of contributing to sustainable development goals. Rather, I want you to think about your capabilities. I need to think about your circumstances and come out with an innovative way through which you can actually contribute to sustainable development goals, which may be really, really, really significant in attaining the sustainable development goals. So let us all together stand for sustainable development and let us all together make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Hello, ma'am, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, ma'am. Mark?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sir, I can hear you too. Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
So if you have any doubts, you can actually ask.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. I'll get back to the question. So sorry for the unprofessionalism. I had some technical issues and some bad network connection, so I couldn't join you guys before. But yeah, a very good morning to each and everyone who has tuned in for the webinar. Sending lots of love and greetings from Scotland of the East, Shillong. I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Mark Mungre. I'm doing my undergrad in 5th SEM, BA Political Science in St. Anthony's College. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful speech, for your wonderful knowledge about reminding us the so many basic things that we tend to forget, the ones that we know, but we always forget because of our busy schedules, or we just don't pay much attention to it. But getting to know from your side and getting reminded of it, it really makes us kind of aware that what we are doing actually. So I would like to say a little bit about Rajagiri College. So to the viewers who has joined in, Rajagiri College of Social Sciences is an autonomous higher educational institute located in, forgive me if I pronounce it wrong, Kalamassery, Kochi in the Indian state of Kerala. It was established in 1955, and I really like the core values of the institution. When I Googled and checked about it, the core values are service, mutual respect, integrity, and excellence. And that's something that I, as an individual, like truly believe in. So I really like the core values when I Googled about it in the college website. Also, the college, the institution has some remarkable accreditations from NAG. In the recent 2021 of fourth cycle, it graded A++ with 3.83 out of 4, which I think is really remarkable. Also in the NIRF ranking, it ranked 31. So I think that's quite impressive. So, and coming back to the topic, sustainable development goal, uh, I would like to say something from my side as well, and to what I've heard from ma'am, our resource person. I would like to ask some questions and maybe just add a little bit out of it. So to all the viewers, sustainable development goal, I think in these days, it kind of more focus in the green energy or the sustainable development when it comes to nature, more than the other goals of the sustainable development that includes. So sustainable development, for I think for us students, it focuses more on quality education. It truly resonates with us. Quality education, gender equality, decent work, and economic economic profession, and clean planet. I think that's something that really resonates with the students. Also, I think when it comes to St. Anthony's College that we have here in Meghalaya, I think it's so ironic that back in 2019, we hosted one conference called MUN Conference, where the theme itself was go green actually. Yeah, everything in the conference, like not even a single plastic was used. I mean, I was a part of it, and it was a wonderful experience that our college has hosted at that point in time. So I think sustainable development goal, when it comes in terms of nature and reuse or recycle, I think the educational institution these days, even in Northeast, has really put their aim towards it to, how to recycle and reuse different kind of things. So yeah, I think that's all from my side. Also, to ma'am, I would like to ask some few questions. As I've said, when it comes to sustainable development goals, we kind of focus it more in the nature way, like in not destructing the forest in and not using the plastic and saving electricity and stuff. But sustainable development goals also has its other points and values. So when it comes to gender equality, ma'am, we don't see much of it actually. So what is your take on that? Like, how do we aware the society, or how do we tell the people about the gender equality? Because I feel like, to be very honest, I think even the third gender or whatever it is in our nation, I think it's not very much well addressed in India. So when it comes to sustainable development, we also talk about gender equality. So ma'am, if you could just speak about that.
Yeah, it's a really a good question, Mark. In fact, I wanted students to raise such think about not only asking questions, but at least it is good to see that at least you are noticing these kind of things. Okay. See, we were talking about 17 goals there. In that, okay, and in the beginning, I told you about the three perspectives of sustainable development, that is environment, social, and the other one. So, see, most of us, knowingly or unknowingly, really focuses only on environment. Almost all, 90% of the activities are towards the environmental aspect of it. Of course, we need it. But then, along with that, we need to look at the other aspect also. But that is really, really important. See, gender equality, equal pay for equal work. Even though we say that, in reality, what is happening, not only in India, across the world, that is happening, there are differences. We need to recognize that, we need to understand that that exists. So, this is where I wanted people, younger people like you, to raise your voice in case you find such kind of an inequality. At least you can bring it to the notice of authorities that, okay, so this is not good. This should not be the way. So this is the only way, only when we are raising. So say I may be keeping mom again on this, because I may be, I don't, I may be thinking that, okay, why should I speak up for someone else? But then if everyone thinks like that, this issue will not be resolved. God remains same. The target cannot be achieved. So definitely you need to look at each and every aspect. Otherwise, SDG goals. See, I told you in the beginning itself, all these goals are interconnected. So if we look at only environment, you cannot really achieve the target. You need to equally take up everything together. So all these goals together go together. So definitely it is high time that we need to look at the other aspects also. Thank you. Thank you for the good question. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I really got the answer. And yeah, I think as we students, I would say in a student's perspective, there are, I think, two terms when it comes to sustainable development: macro and micro. In macro, we cannot do much about it. It all depends on the industry, like go green energy. But in the micro, as ma'am said, I think we as students, we can really contribute the 3 R's. So yeah, I think that's all. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really a knowledgeable experience for us to listen to what you have to say, and looking forward to whatever is next. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. So, can I leave, Akhil? Akhil, are you there?